Welcome back to the Fish Camp. The video you're watching will give you a basic introduction to saltwater fishing. You don't even need previous fishing experience to follow this course. Just watch each video in the playlist and ask questions in the comments. Alright, let's get started. So for those of you who saw my latest video, we absolutely hammered the trout in Galveston the week after Hurricane Beryl. One thing I forgot to mention in that video is the bite was so good. I could have made a 3-hour video, but the problem is I caught my 3-fish limit in like 20 minutes, so I was more or less forced to stop. The point is, I want you to be able to go out and catch fish exactly like I did in that video. So this is an introduction. I'm going to give you a broad overview, and in each video after this, that's where we're going into extreme detail. But for now, take a look at the outline on your screen. Let's go through this one by one. What do you want to catch? That's going to depend on your stomach. That's going to depend on what you want to eat. There's many choices, redfish, flounder. I'm not going to go through them all, but pick one. That's what you'll go fishing for. Where are you going fishing? This is the last question leads into this one. Pick a spot where you want to go fishing. Make sure that you have the legal right to fish there. And on the subject of fishing licenses, I'm just going to mention that state parks, at least in Texas, state parks include the cost of the fishing license in the entry fee to the park. So keep that in mind. Bait or artificial. For beginners, I would recommend bait. It's not wrong to use artificial, but usually you would probably start with bait. What kind of gear do you already own? Okay, so you would want, let me get my stuff so you should show you. So you would want to, if you had to choose, you would choose to have a spinning setup like this one right here. Okay, this is a Abu Garcia rod, Cardinal rod, and it's a spinning rod, and of course we have the Cardinal 100 spinning reel onto it. Okay, and so the reason to have the spinning is because you're going to end up putting braid, and you would never you don't put braid on bait caster. You could also fish with mono. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just for saltwater. Braid holds up better to all the abrasions and bad stuff in saltwater. So we went over gear. We'll go over lures later and rigs, but for now, that's it. For the gear, you're going to need a combo. You can buy a pre-spooled combo. There's nothing wrong with it. And like I said, you could fish mono. It doesn't have to be braid. And I would say anywhere from 10 to 30, 40 pounds. That's about the right range there. So can you tie a knot? The second short in the series called 5-Minute Fishing School, I look at the description. The second short in that series shows you how to tie the Palomar knot. That's the only knot that you'll need as a beginner. So choosing a rig. All right, for rigs, I'm going to show you 2 rigs that you can get started with right away for bait. They're based on bait. And I'll show you a couple of artificial rigs. How about that? All right, so let's get started. Again, I flew through this. Spinning combo, buy a pre-spooled spinning combo. That's the easiest way. There's a way that you can, for saltwater, you could use bait caster with a bait caster rod. But for the sake of simplicity, this would be the easier option. Right here, what I have in my hand. Spinning rod, spinning reel, spooled with braid or mono. Either one. You don't need braid. It's just, I like it. So, but if you do use mono, I would say go about 20 pounds if you're just going to use straight mono. All right, so you got braid on your reel, okay? That braid goes to a leader, okay? That's how we do it. How long should the leader be? 4 feet would be a good option, I think. This one's not even maybe 2 feet. But 4 feet, so you want to go braid, and I tie a uni knot. The best knot is the FG, but I tie a uni knot between the braid and this line right here. And for the end of on the end of the leader line, and I'll show you on the GoPro, we have a snap. Okay, that's what I use, a snap. All right, right here we have a snap. Everywhere today where I'm going to be snapping and unsnapping, you'll be tying knots. I use a snap because I have a YouTube channel. I have to change baits often. All right, so this is the first rig, okay? I went ahead and snapped it on here. This is called a dropper rig, okay, right here. It's got the swivel. This happens to be a single dropper rig, so it's got beads and it has this arm. and that goes down to a collie hook. Okay, this looks to be like a 3/0, 4/0 collie hook. Okay, it's not like the J hook. They got that wide gap in them. So the arm drops down to the hook, but then at the very end, there's this 1 ounce sinker. Okay, it has a swivel, a snap down there at the bottom, and you put a sinker on there. So the idea is this sits on the bottom, and as the current is flowing by, the dead shrimp stays up off the bottom, and the fish will come pick it up from there. So that's the dropper rig that I just showed you. Next rig I'm going to show you is based on what's called a popping cork. One of the most popular things in saltwater fishing is the popping cork. So let me show you that. This is a popping cork right here. Okay. So this is a tsunami popping cork right there, and it gets its name from the sound that it makes when it goes back and forth. This one has this black heavy leader, and it ends, and I went ahead and tied some leader line onto it to make it longer, so the whole thing ends up being like this long, okay, which is 3.5 feet, 3 feet. And so the end of this thing goes to a snap. Again, you will be tying a knot right here, and that goes to a circle hook. This looks to be 2 or 3/0, maybe circle hook right here, and you put dead shrimp on that. So, but on the other one, by the way, I didn't mention. So dead shrimp. You take some live shrimp, cut them in half, or you can buy frozen shrimp, bait shrimp. But either way, put shrimp on that, and you're good to go. And so the swivel part right here, you would just like you saw me snap it on there, you would tie a knot right there. Now I'm going to give you 2 or 3 options for artificial. Okay, so to this snap, we could tie something like a spoon. Okay, here's a gold spoon. Let me back up a little bit. Gold spoon, and then also we have what's called gulp. Okay, gulp. That's a very popular option. You can put that underneath the popping cork. It's technically artificial. And then we have an action bait. Okay, so this is one action bait that I'm showing you today. You would tie on this paddle tail. Okay, paddle tail with a little 1/2 ounce jig head. You throw it out and you retrieve it. It swims in the water. The fish think it's a fish. Bigger fish think it's a fish, and they'll come and eat it. So this will catch specks, reds, flounders, all kind of stuff. So this is your artificial option. I gave you the gulp option. I gave you the dropper rig option. And that's it, guys. That's it right there. I mean, I showed you all the rigs. You now know, this is a good introduction. Hopefully you now know what you need to do to get started saltwater fishing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Fish Camp TV.